Hello everyone, welcome to the SPFL Fans Podcast. Today I'm joined by Liam.
Hello.
And Murray.
Hello.
Both Highways, so they're both twats. I'm your host Ryan. I'm an Aberdeen fan, so shut up, we're bad, we get it. We're going to be talking about different things to do with Scottish football, like the Scottish national team and Scottish Premiership, and just about Scotland in general, to be honest. So, to kick us off, we have the Scotland game last night. The one against Albania, not the rugby. Good 4-0 win for Scotland. Good goals from James Forrest. Good pen from Stephen Fletcher. And the other one that I forgot who scored.
Ryan Fraser.
That's the one. Aberdeen boy. So, Liam, if you want to get started on that, that'd be great.
I thought we were brilliant considering most of the great players that we have for Scotland. Sort of called out, like Tierney. Did
Charlie Muldrew.
Did Griffiths pull out, or was he injured?
He wasn't called up in the first place. He called out last one.
John McGinn.
Just about everyone from England pulled out in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Lee Griffiths has pulled out of the Scotland squad more times than he ever has with a woman. So, old joke, but it had to be put in there somewhere. So,
I thought the performance last night was really good. I was expecting to lose, to be fair, because I'm not a fan of Alex McLeish, but
a lot of people are, to be honest.
The one yesterday sort of made me like him a bit more, but I've not fully trusted him yet. So I'm hoping we can win against Albania next week. Is it next Thursday? Is it?
I think it's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
You were close enough. Same letter.
But hoping we can win that game.
Yeah. Murray, what were your thoughts on the game last night?
Thought we actually played quite well, to be honest. Despite the fact you could say they had the player sent off and all that, thought we still played quite well considering.
Speaking on that red card, did you think it was a red card when you saw it first?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
definitely.
Especially for a captain to go right into something after you've just been booked, it was stupid.
It's not the smartest idea. Seems to be like Ryan Christie's getting a bit of a knack of being headbutted. That's two in about a week and a bit. First with Dolly Menga at Livingston, and now it's Mavraj.
But yeah, it was definitely a red card in my opinion. Was he called up for a foul right before he headbutted Christie? I can't remember.
He was literally booked seconds before.
Yeah, he tackled James Forrest and he just went pure headbutted Ryan Christie, which is a clear red card to me. But the ref yellow carded him for the James Forrest incident, then yellow carded him again, I think.
I mean, I saw the Scotland highlights on their Twitter page this morning, because I didn't watch the game yesterday because I haven't got Sky. But when I looked at it, I thought it was a definite red. But it's the fact that when Christie went down, Mavraj stood over him and then started laughing when the referee started coming over, gave it away that he did something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, right, moving on. The Israel game that we play on Tuesday. Obviously, last time we went there, was it 2-0? 2-1 loss?
2-1. We went ahead first.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to be a tough game again, I reckon. But all we need is a draw to put us into a good position for next year.
Well, we need to win to get top of the group.
Yeah, as long as we get it's something. Just a good result would do us. But with McLeish as manager, I don't think we can force a result. He's never been that great under pressure. He's never been that great as a manager, to be honest. His track record hasn't been fantastic. But I think with the team we put out last night, we should be able to push forward, grab a win.
If we can put a team out similar to last night's one, I think we can definitely win the game. Because last night, the team just played as a team. There wasn't anyone trying to get a golden moment. They were all just trying to help each other out, and I think that's what Scotland have been needing in the past while. So I'd like to see the same team go out on Tuesday.
Yeah. I think a similar team would definitely put us into a good position for the game. Israel haven't got a very strong team. I could only name Berham Kayal and Nir Beaton, to be honest, from that team. And both of them aren't exactly top quality. I don't know. Murray, your thoughts on
Yeah.
the game?
Well, we can't make too many changes because that team was probably the best Scotland performance in years. So I hope that we don't change it too much.
think- Yeah, no.
With Patterson as well. I hope he just plays right back again, because who else is going to play there?
Exactly, that's what Kieran Tierney brought up, or was Andy Robertson, one of them brought up a couple of weeks ago in the last international break that McLeish was playing both him and Tierney out of position,
Yeah, I saw that.
and vice versa. For Scotland, which meant one of them was centre back, one of them was right back, and we were playing, I think it was Charlie Mulgrew at left back at one point instead of Tierney or Robertson, and subsequently Tierney's dropped out of the last two breaks, which isn't great to see when you're one of your best players that you've had in a Scotland national team in ages is dropping out.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that both of our fantastic, like our best two players in about 5 or 6 years, I'd say, since James McFadden and Sean Maloney have both come in at left back.
It's just Scotland.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, but it's just been called out for a fantastic player, someone world class, and we got it in Robertson and Tierney. It's just
But I hope that is an injury related problem for Tierney, and not like a falling out with like the actual manager, because we might need him at some point. Say if Robertson gets injured and we're desperate for a left back, then Tierney is like a must, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think talking about musts, I think last night we got off very lucky with Bates playing with Devlin calling out on Wednesday through an injury. I think Aberdeen will struggle in the next game and in the cup final if he's out for a while, because he's been one of the Aberdeen's best performers this season.
Yeah.
I would quite happily say that he's one of Scotland's best defenders that we have at centre back right now.
I was quite glad to see Bates was in the squad, because I was at the Scotland-England under-21s game, and him and Porteous were two standout players in that game.
Bates is a good player. It's just he's went to was it Hamburg? He's travelled to, so it's to get more first team football and get a bit more experience under his belt, and he's doing pretty well over in the Bundesliga too.
Yeah,
so it's not bad. So the Premiership so far in Scotland, obviously Scottish football not exactly the most exciting type of thing, but from the ending of last season, where it was down to the wire about who was getting European spots, when Hibs and Rangers had that fantastic 5-5 draw, and Aberdeen had that controversial 1-0 win at Celtic Park.
That was something else.
A good bit of outrage from everyone on Twitter regarding that Aberdeen score. And a lot of people, was it Hibs who went 3-0 up inside like 20 minutes?
we went 3-0 up,
Yeah.
and then went 5-3 down, and then 5-5.
Yeah. That result saw Neil Lennon be banned for 4 or 5 Scottish Premiership games?
It was 4.
Because of it. 4 games for his
For being an airplane.
fantastic celebration of him pretending to be an AC 130. So, the Prem so far this season, we have seen controversial decisions
Every week.
from near enough every week. Start from the first week, Aberdeen Rangers, a 1-1 drop to Tawdry. Alfredo Morelos sent off, and then 2 days later, the kick that Morelos had given and the red card sent off by, was it Stephen Thompson or Craig Thompson?
I don't know.
I can't remember who the ref was, but he sent him off. SFA rescinded it almost 2 days later when it was a quite obvious kick out. It's a controversial decision at the time, but replay showed it that Morelos still just turn around and kick him. I'd like to know your thoughts on that, Liam.
Morelos shouldn't have done that at all. That was, in my opinion, it was a red card. Not just because I really hate Rangers, but just there was no need for it. Like, he lashed out, showing anger. I think he should definitely been a red card. So I was quite happy with that result.
Yeah, going by the letter of the law, it's a red.
If it was an Aberdeen player, Rangers fans would be crying about it.
Yeah, no, I think the Rangers fans had a case with McKenna. He had no right to run up and shoulder barge Morelos, basically knocking him over. I reckon that should have been a booking, because McKenna's been told annoy Morelos because he's got a temper. So it should be a booking because he's not, the ball's miles away. McKenna should be booked, but Morelos has turned around and put his studs into McKenna's knee/shin. So I don't know. Stupid from him. And then travelling down to Hibs, who are currently sitting 8th in the league. Good start to the season. Not quite sure what's happened to them now. Murray, would you like to talk about it? Or would you rather steer clear of it?
We started off quite well with a 3-0 win at home to Motherwell. We looked like a complete team then. And now we can barely string 2 passes together. Don't know what's happened, to be honest.
Speaking about like Hibs, when we travel to use for the, I think our first game against Jews was, if I could check quickly,
That was the one.
I reckon, was it a 1-1? The third week of the season. Saturday, 25th of August, Aberdeen won, Hibs won. The tightest game of the season so far, I would say. Good tapping from Tommy Hoban after a horrible mistake. And Jamie McLaren 4 minutes to go, obviously equalising for Hibs at Easter Road. It was a tight game. I always thought we were going to lose. Every time we travel to Easter Road, every time we travel, we don't seem to do that well. Especially with a team who had lost about half, and most of our players were passing like their expiry date.
Yeah.
It was a tight game. So I think the draw was probably deserved on that day, if memory serves me right. But I wouldn't say we played good.
I would disagree with that. I thought our goal was very cheap that we conceded.
I think it was more Bogdan, to be honest.
We kept giving you the chance because no one was marking the centre. We would mark your player at the back post, but no one was marking the penalty spot.
Yeah, and then Bogdan obviously not being able to catch isn't a great thing.
I forgot about that.
Right, I'm going to add Scott to the podcast now. He's a St. Mirren fan, so I'll just get him in.
Right, sound. St. Mirren, a team who haven't done that great. Jack Ross. Has to be said.
I mean, they're not as bad as Dundee, but they're pretty bad.
Can't be as bad as Dundee. Sorry, Ewan, but it's just not going to happen. Dundee, one of the teams who signed a lot of good players from England and lower leagues of Scotland, and were linked with Lawrence Shankland for quite some time.
Yeah.
That deal never went through. But they've won 1 or 2 games.
They beat Hull.
Let's have a look.
I think that's it.
Hello.
Right. Dundee. What's going on with them?
Well, we played them recently. This is not this one. So we played them recently away. It was our last game actually. We're poor, but actually in the first and the last 10 minutes, it was the only times we were going to win the game. That shows how poor we are. But they do have some promise. It's just they don't have that cutting edge at the end. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Aye. We had a 17-year-old at left back, and he got cut open quite a few times. And but I feel like it depends on how bad we are, and it's both Owen Kearney and Jim McIntyre in January. What signings they're going to make? If they can make enough good signings, that'll decide who's going up or staying up.
Yeah. I mean, I travelled to Dundee, second game of the season. It's the first away game of the season for Aberdeen. A narrow 1-0 lead, but Dundee must have been in behind McKenna and Considine. Not McKenna and Considine, Devlin and Considine. About 10, 11 times in that first half, and not one shot on target from their strikers. Wow. It's just not good enough for them. To be a striker and missing that many opportunities is not good enough in this game.
Yeah, I remember when we played Dundee up there in September, and they had 2 golden chances in the first 5 minutes, and then they just sort of slowed down, and then they went in half time 0-0, a good score for them, but after half time they completely capitulated.
It's just stupid for them. Like, Kenny Miller was meant to be their saving grace. He's only got 2-3 goals since joining in August.
I think his first goal was against us on Saturday, and that was a tap-in.
Really? I would expect him to get more, but he's meant to be that man who's meant to get them to stay up, who's meant to get them goals. He's only got one.
He's the captain and all. He's supposed to be the man who's taking the game by the horns and driving them forward, and he didn't do that on Saturday. He just scored a tap-in.
Exactly. It's not the way a captain or a striker with his calibre and his experience should be performing.
Yeah.
But I hate Kenny Miller with a passion. I hate him.
Yeah.
But you have to feel for him.
Well,
he's miles above Dundee.
I think he's just getting past his time now. I think possibly if Dundee get relegated, which most likely they will, I reckon he'll just hang up his boots because I can see no one signing him.
Well, yeah, it's like what? He's 38. He's 39 this year. He's 39 on the 23rd of December this year. He's not exactly the youngest of people anymore.
Yeah.
No.
Not quite the man he won in 1999 perhaps.
Oh, God. 1999 just seems like you shouldn't even be playing football anymore. Like, that is before I was born. Put it that way.
You won't want to retire, but you will. Because you want to have these poor performances for Dundee will show at the end of the season. He does get a goal here and there, but it's not good enough anymore.
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah.
He had that one good season with Rangers that I remember, 2 seasons ago under Caixinha.
Yeah.
Where he like performed, I think it was a 20-goal season. It was definitely double figures. And he was fantastic. And then he's put into the reserves team because him and Lee Wallace have fell out.
Yeah.
With Mark.
Got released.
It's quite sad, but you'd imagine he'd go into management or something in the Championship or maybe a lower league.
Well, his management career lasted very long with Livingston. What, not even a month?
Yeah, but that was just because he didn't want to become a full-time manager.
That was his attitude, though, because they asked him, right, it's not going well, can you just step down as a manager and be the player? And he wasn't having it. He wanted it to be his way. So it's not going to go his way. He might just walk out or something.
Yeah.
He's a stubborn man.
If we can get the question from Twitter, got one question for you today. From Aidan Mackay. He's got a question for us regarding Aberdeen and the Kingsford situation. So I'm going to ask you all this. Liam, I want you to answer first.
Okay.
Right? Your opinion on Kingsford and how much do you think it will improve Aberdeen Football Club in general?
I think it will give it, like, because I've been to Pittodrie once to see Aberdeen versus Rangers with my old football team. And when I went there, it was quite, like, no offence to Aberdeen fans, but Pittodrie's a bit, to be fair.
Yes.
Like,
it definitely is. No, it is.
I reckon their stadium could do with a upgrade, and I think Kingsford would be great. Like, if I think they're having troubles right now with, like, the land, isn't it? Because it's it's like a swamp basically right now because of all the rain that's been happening here for the past month. Yeah, but I reckon Kingsford would be great for Aberdeen. I reckon it would bring in more fans because I know Aberdeen don't have. I've watched Aberdeen games live on TV, and I've noticed that, like, most big games they have, I can see tons of the seats like empty.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's not going to improve moving out to an hour outside the city, in my opinion. Yeah. But
is that how far it is?
It's about half an hour to 45 minutes, and on match days, there's no train stations around. That's the biggest problem a lot of us have with us moving out there.
When we moved our stadium 10 years ago, it's literally just a walk down you can walk down the street in 5 minutes, so that's quite convenient for all the train stations and parking.
It's the same way Dundee United and Dundee, they're 2 minutes apart.
Yeah.
It's quite convenient for them because they can't move, and their stadiums they aren't the best, let's put it that way, but Aberdeen's now stadium 100 and something years old, survived both world wars, survived a fire in the main stand back in the 1980s. Somehow it's still standing, I don't know how. But we had an interview with Dave Cormack on BBC, right, on Wednesday, and he was talking about how he wants to get American investments and stuff, and if he was to redevelop Pittodrie, our attendance would be slashed by 6,000-7,000. So he's basically said our best option was to move out of the city, get that Kingsford built, because that's going to have us 20,000. Even though there's no train station, there's no pubs or anything next to it, we still have. He's planning on building all these facilities.
They'll get built later on. All the train stations will go. They'll say, "Oh, money available," and they'll move towards it.
Yeah, well, we have the new AWPR being built right now. It was maybe done about this year, last year, but it's still now estimated finishing time is 2020. The same year we finished building our stadium, not our training facility, it's a stadium. With that opening, it cuts travel time about half. and on match days there's like a direct road out to Kingsford. So it's convenient, but it's not great. Let's be honest. For an Aberdeen fan who lives, I don't know, say about 2 minutes from Pittodrie, just on King Street, it's not convenient for them because they have to get out of town, which in total takes about 30 minutes. On a good day, takes about 30 minutes. On a match day, it's going to be worse. Yeah. Getting into West Hill, there's only one road, so that's not going to be fantastic.
Looking at it, it's just a field road.
Yeah, it's a main road that cuts into a field road.
Yeah.
If it was closer, like if it was actually in Aberdeen itself, I think it would be like perfect. But now I never knew it was like half an hour drive from Aberdeen city centre. So yeah, I mean,
you can't have the third biggest team in the country travelling to our field roads for a bit of the journey. Of the fans and a bit get the farmers, won't they be happy as well?
Oh no, the Nolan Kingsford group have a court date on Tuesday to try with a final chance to get this thing cut off, to get it stopped. Just the training facilities, no stadium. That's their final deal, and if that doesn't go through, the stadium gets built. Aberdeen fans, about 75% of Aberdeen fans are left happy. That 25%, which I'm included in, aren't exactly going to be the happiest of people.
Yeah, I can see your point. The only thing that could ever be a good situation is if you build some sort of direct train station from Aberdeen to Kingsford and just have that one-stop line going on match days.
Yep. Right, we'll move on from Aberdeen. We'll move on from the league in general. Go over to the League Cup, which the final is played in 2 weeks today. Yes. On the 2nd of December, Aberdeen Celtic at Hampden Park on BBC and I think Sky. I
think it's on BT.
BT as well, alright.
Yeah, BT.
Oh no, it's just BT, sorry. A game that will go one of two ways. Either Aberdeen will get humped or we'll somehow scrape like we have the whole way through our League Cup campaign. Let's start with Hibs. We'll skip past the first game week where Hibs have beat, who did they beat on the first week? Where are we? They beat Ross County 3-2 at Easter Park. Easter Road even. Sorry.
That was
and Aberdeen beat St Mirren 4-0. Scott, can you talk us through that?
Well, I did actually find the manager live stream, and it was just that was when the team wasn't together. Everyone was just like a shambles. There was no organisation at all, and he's ripped us apart. Mackay Stephen had our young left back who's actually he got his loan terminated. He was that poor.
Is that Hayden Coulson?
He ripped him rotten. Aye, Coulson.
Yeah.
Aye.
You must have been bad because Stevie May scored that day, and Stevie May hasn't scored since.
I know. See, before the cup final, Alan McCoy said that half of your goals this season have came against us, 8, and then the rest just came against all the other opposition. So, when's it? 15th of December. Should be an easy day for these.
Oh, is that when we next play? Is that Paisley?
Aye, it's Summer Park. Aye.
Right. Well, we'll skip past the Hibs game because let's just say it was a 3-2 win against Ross County, a game that was never in doubt. We'll go forward a month and a bit. We'll go forward a month and a bit to the Hibs Aberdeen game at Easter Road. 0-0 full time and after extra time. We won 6-5 on pens. A game we did not deserve to win. A game Hibs deserved to absolutely hammer us, about 4 or 5-0.
Daylight robbery at its finest.
Oh, it definitely. It was moonlight robbery. Yeah, it was a really disappointing game from us. We still getting used to our team. Still weren't great. Saved by Joe Lewis in almost every shot. Let's just have a look at the stats really quickly. Thomas Agupong. A lot of people hated him after that, but he seems to have picked himself back up.
He's injured now.
Yeah, injured.
Yeah, well, he's going to have to start taking himself off the treatment table. But Hibs 61% possession to Aberdeen 39. 21 shots from Hibs.
Oh, Jesus.
They didn't capitalise.
And 7 corners. So
I think I remember
that's just not great.
And Boyle kept running down the wing and kept lobbing the ball into the wind and it went nowhere.
Yeah, I just have a look at this as well. Joe Lewis had 6 saves to make. Was it Bogdan in goals for you or was it Laidlaw?
It was Bogdan.
Right. Yeah, he saved 3 from Aberdeen's 3 shots on target. So it just proved how on top Hibs were throughout the whole 120 minutes.
Yeah.
We didn't have a great team out. Hibs had a fantastic team out.
That was like the perfect example of Hibs not taking their chances, which is, in my opinion, been a big problem this season. Is we've not took our chances.
Been a problem.
We've had so much open goals this season.
When you signed back Canberra and McLaren at the start of the season, I was expecting big things like last season.
They're both injured.
Everyone was.
Now I just couldn't care less if they get the ball. They were at Pataudry on last week. As soon as they got the ball, I just instantly thought, well, they're going to miss. They've not been on form this season. It's not been the same Flo Canberra and McLaren that it has been.
They took a while to get going last year, and they haven't had a lot of game time together. I think they've played about just over 100 minutes together this season.
Yeah, they've not been great.
Last time they played together before Aberdeen Hibs was in Moldy, I think. That was the last time they played.
For about 30 seconds.
Fair enough. We'll move forward to the League Cup semi. No, the League Cup final. We'll just skip the semi-final where Aberdeen played 1-0 through Lewis Ferguson, a Rangers family man, son of Derek, nephew of Barry, scoring against his uncle's team, and scoring another crucial goal. Let's put it that way. And Celtic, their 3-0 win against Hearts, so Ryan Christie won their goal. Let's skip forward to the final in 2 weeks' time. Any predictions on that?
I reckon it'll either be a thumping to use by Celtic, or it'll be like Aberdeen win, like a scrape.
Just like we always do.
1-0.
It's literally ever going to be 5-0 or 1-0 to Aberdeen.
Mm-hmm. It's the way we do it.
So coming in this at a bad time.
I don't know what happened there.
I'm back, you're coming in this at a bad time. Well, it's not your fault though. They're just on form finally.
Yeah.
And have they got a Europa game on the Thursday before the final?
Yeah, they do. That's why we're playing on the Sunday.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, right. I think you could have a wee bit of an advantage there.
I think that was what our advantage was going into that Rangers game. They were playing the same team near enough that they played on Thursday in Spartak Moscow.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah.
So.
You'll be up against it, but when is it? The 2nd of December, something like that.
2nd of December, Sunday.
Yeah. It'll be a tightly contested first half, and then they'll eventually break through and they'll win something like 2-0.
Right. We'll take us away from the league in the League Cup, right? And we'll move on. I saw on BBC, courtesy of Murray here, that the SPFL are proposing a new Scottish League 3, which would consist of 4 cult teams, 4 Highland League teams, and 4 Lowland League teams. Scott, I'd like to ask, what would your opinion be on that league being made?
Not worthy. They are both tough leagues, as you probably know, the Lowland and the Highland leagues, but you need to win it and then beat either the Lowland or the Highland league, then you got to beat the bottom one. And then imagine if you're a cult team, you've got to go all the way up to the Highlands, or you're being told you're going to be playing a bunch of kids today in a professional league. You probably won't be happy with it.
And especially with Celtic Colts, if they get to the Championship, they can't go up. What's the point?
Same with Aberdeen Colts. Our cult team is one of the best. Ours and Celtic are one of the best in
Hibs.
Scotland and Hibs right now in Scotland. They're some of the best cult teams there is.
Yeah.
If they're going to go up and play, let's go with like Auchinleck Talbot. Say they're in the Lowland League. I don't know what league they're in.
Just say Spartans. I know they're in the Lowland League.
Right. Go Spartans, yeah. Say Aberdeen have Conor McLean and Bruce Anderson, and they're playing up against them. There's no chance that they're going to lose that game if they have 2 of the most promising talents who just both started for Scotland, along with Hibs. Say they're going to travel and play Cove Rangers. Ryan Porteous would just snap Mitch Megginson. There'd be no chance for them to score.
Yeah.
And the Highland League players, they've just done their shift. It could be I can't speak. It could be a midweek game, and they've just finished their shift. And you got these guys are training probably a lot of time, and maybe they've been drafted in because low on match sharpness or something. And it's not going to be a fair competition.
Yeah, you've got these people who are out at work, and then you've got people who are training every day of the week.
There's also a chance if the Cove have to travel down to Glasgow on a midweek game, There is no way the likes of Connor Scully and Mitch Megginson are going to be able to get time off work to travel down with the team every single other week. There's only so much time you can be let off. There's no chance it would work.
Well, I'd assume it'd be a 36. Well, it's a 12-team league, so it would probably be a 38. So you'd probably have about the same amount of midweek games as the Premiership.
Yeah, and that's about 3 a season with postponed games added on through that. It's still nigh on impossible to get time off for some of them games, especially if you're leaving at 12.
The SFA must be impressed with how the Andrew Cup's going with the Colts. Like Motherwell getting to the quarter-final, and who was it? East Kilbride. They almost beat us last year in the Cup, but we won 2 late goals. They must be impressed with that. Right, let's put this into a league format.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad idea overall. I think it just needs a little bit of tweaking to make it work.
How would the other Colts teams get in it? If Celtic finish bottom, would the Colt team have to be at the second place of the Highland League team, or that's what they're going to have to?
I don't know. It'd probably just be top 4 of each league or something. But then
2 would get promoted, and then 4, or it would be 2 relegated them, the top 2 from the Highland.
It'd just be a bit stupid, to be honest. I reckon the whole concept
and then the issue
is a good idea. It's just the execution is poor.
Is you've got 5 big teams in Scotland, and Hibs, Hearts, Rangers, Celtic and Aberdeen, and you've got 4 Colts teams.
Exactly. It's just...
You could have Cove Rangers could get relegated, and they could get replaced by Motherwell Colts. Then you have 6 or 7 Colts in 3 years, going in a 5th division instead of these teams that are actual teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. I'm going to just add something in here quickly. Right. We've reached November. We've reached match week 13 of the SPFL. Who's been your standout player and who's been your worst player? So we'll start with Liam and we'll end with me, right?
Right.
So Liam, who's been your standout and who's been the big disappointment of your team?
Standout first and then disappointment.
If you want, either way.
Standout, I'd definitely say either Stevie Mallon or Martin Boyle.
Right.
Stevie Mallon's free kicks have been pretty good. They haven't been that great the past few games where we've lost, but before that you could guarantee his free kicks were going to go in.
Yeah.
I can't remember what, I think it was the first match against Motherwell.
Yeah.
I was listening to it on the radio, and I heard that he was getting a free kick, and then I was like, "Oh, this is definitely going in, guarantee it," and it just went in. He's so reliable in the dead ball.
What about your most disappointing player of Hibs this season then?
I'm gonna have to go with probably Stephen Whittaker.
Player a lot of you have picked on this season, I reckon. For good reason, to be fair. He's not the same player he was back at his Rangers days.
Yeah,
I genuinely think his time's up at Hibs. There's no reason for him to be in the team now. We could have a younger right back. I presume he's on some decent wages, so if we got rid of him, we could probably get in a decent new young defender who would be a good replacement for him.
Does anyone know if this is his last year in his contract?
No, I can.
Right, you could just let him go at the end of the season. Well, you probably should.
We should in January. Ship him off as soon as possible.
Right, so that's Liam's thoughts. So we'll move over to Scott and St Mirren. I know it's hard to pick a best player for you.
No,
but
it's
try your best.
If I was to pick a best, or he's saved us a lot. Craig Sampson no longer with us somehow. He's just pulled off a lot of good saves, but a lot of blunders. He's that 50-50 player. So that's how poor we are. I have to pick someone who's been 50-50 at best.
Yeah.
And then if I go for worst, I could name all of Alan Stubbs' signings, but I'll go for a first team player, and Steve McGinn, the captain. He's just not been up to standards. Everyone's saying, he'll pull us through this season. The first 11 games, nowhere to be seen most times. He's shadowing away from the ball. He's not going in for tackles. He's not looking for the through ball or something. He's just kind of like letting Willock, Flynn, Edwards do all the work. And I think that's important currently. He's injured now as well. So
we were watching him when he was up here last time. He was up here with me 1-4-1. I was watching him again, and he seemed like a bit of a thug. He was always going in hard on challenges, always trying to niggle it like Gary Mackay-Steven and Graham Shinnie. He doesn't seem like a fantastic player.
No, he's good at what's. He's good if he can run the show like he did in the Championship against the Queen and the Souths, the Brecons and that. He can run it because he can see the space. The opposition aren't that good. But when he's up against some quality, he does struggle to find the pass, find this tackle, and he just gets outclassed, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Right, well, if we can move on to you then. Yeah. Your best and worst.
Standout player would have to be Ryan Porteous. I thought he came to the squad and played like a first team player, despite the fact he's only 19. Him and Paul Hamlin, whenever they played together, have been outstanding. So, Ryan Porteous has to be the best. The worst, however, it would probably, I guess if we're saying disappointment, I'd probably say McLaren. Just hasn't came in, provided what he did last season, with goals and assists. So, hopefully he can speed up soon. Get back to the old McLaren that we know.
I completely missed that. I think my Skype disconnected there, but I think I gathered that he's in McLaren.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Right, well, for Aberdeen, I'd say a standout player has to be Gary Mackay-Steven. He's not the same. He's improved on what he was at this time last season, but he's not the Gary Mackay-Steven we've seen, which is saying a lot about our team. We haven't seen fantastic players this season. Niall McGinn and Graham Shinnie have both shown glimpses of what they can be.
Yeah. But
not 100% in every game. I say disappointment has to go to Chris Forrester. Signed on I think it's the most we've ever spent on a player in the past 6 years, which is 400k. Spent 250 on Stevie May last year. But Chris Forrester has come in for 400k, an ex-Republic of Ireland international, a man who was captain of Peterborough 2 seasons ago, a starter for them for the last 3 years in the League One and Championship. And now he's hardly ever in the youth team because of his attitude and his alcohol addiction.
I didn't know.
Really?
Alcohol addiction, I should say.
Well, didn't know that.
It came out recently. Apparently, it's not just alcohol addiction, but leave it at that because I don't want to spread too much stuff about him that might not be true.
Fair enough.
But going alongside Forrester, Gleeson has to be up there as well.
Yeah.
But I think for this podcast, the first one of the SPFL Fans Podcast, I think that will have to do us for this time. But for future podcasts, if you could always go on Twitter, ask me, Matt at RYXNWXTSONN, or DM Liam at Liam Miller 1875. Just ask us any questions for future podcasts. Tell us what you want to hear next time. Give us your thoughts on some of the stuff we discussed today. And we'll see you next time on the SPFL Fans Podcast. Goodbye.